I want to dig into Jackie because Jackie's a little shady.
Okay, so I want to go over there and I want to take her life right now. It's all I can do not to.
Do I shed tears?
Oh, my kids, you know, I talk about my kids like that. Like, I swear to God, I ain't joking. But I'm so angry. Like, I'm so angry.
She opened up about telling me, you know, she's been married 4 times.
Wait, she's been married 4 times?
Yeah.
Married 4 times before Doug, or Doug is the 4th?
Doug is the 4th.
Jackie Christie was caught cheating, not with just 1, not 2, but 5 different men, as well as Doug. She is breaking down all of you. He is not going to stand for it, though. Naturally, he has moved on from the faithful love fairy tale and is divorcing. For years, they sold to the world. Every day of the year, this man was out here repeating his vows, standing with Jackie through all the scandals, and remaining steadfast. And now, in the streets, all of that loyalty has completely vanished. They are laughing and conversing. Jackie is allegedly living a second life while out and about, and now that Doug has discovered it, he is making sure she pays for it. The situation is alarming, incredibly disorganized, and only going to grow worse. Let us get started. You must provide some background information. Like the original pair that everyone believed was unbreakable, Jackie and Doug Christie survived a string of scandals, including suspicions of infidelity and violent altercations in public. Additionally, despite years of people ignoring their relationship, Jackie consistently acted as the devoted wife. However, when Jackie struck Doug with that $300 million divorce demand, everything changed. And as you already know, Doug was not going to let her leave with that bag. As a result, the fairy tale has now completely devolved into a scandal. Let us not pretend to be brand new, nevertheless. Jackie has been exhibiting symptoms for years. In order to maintain control, she forced Doug to renew their vows annually, not out of love or fond memories. As she had previously stated on national television, if you are planning a wedding, you will never get divorced.
Moaning and groaning, but Jackie believes that this helps their marriage last so long. So, you know, once they have a ceremony, there's only a short time because then they got to start planning again.
Doug, you take this amazing woman once again to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Jackie?
I do.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your amazing...
Now that Doug had abandoned her despite his unwavering devotion to her, Jackie's entire scheme had failed. In actuality, Doug has been done for a long time. As you may already know if you watched the episode with their daughter and Laura, Doug appeared worn out with Jackie. Not only worn out, but also spiritually spent. Doug brought in a private investigator as soon as Jackie began acting strangely. What did he discover? Whoa, that is pure exclusive news. We are discussing bank data, CCTV footage, screenshots, and a timetable so thorough it resembled anything from a crime documentary. At that point, the rumors were verified. Jackie was going out with more than one person. While she was married to Doug, she supposedly had 5 secret boyfriends. Since Doug has always been viewed as the quiet, devoted spouse who supported her no matter what, folks initially found it hard to accept, but it was indisputable once the facts began to surface.
To myself, okay, I know that this person was married several times, but why are there so many names connected to her?
In her double life, each of these men had a distinct function to play. One was purportedly funding her and maintaining her opulence behind Doug's back. Another was an industry expert who helped her tidy up her image when it became too disorganized. In addition, she could not seem to move on from her ex, regardless of how much time had gone by. The actual stunner, though, among these men was a prominent Hollywood A-lister whose name alone had the power to rock the business. To make matters worse, it was said that another one was collaborating with Doug's competitors in the business world. Jackie was accused of giving Doug's rivals information about his company in addition to cheating. Jackie is a queen pin out here, you guys. The fact that Doug disregarded warnings from others for years just serves to heighten the sadness of this situation. His close friends, family, and even business acquaintances noticed the warning signs and told him something was not right. They observed Jackie's movements, the little irregularities, and her persistent attempts to steer the story. However, Doug, the devoted husband, chose to disregard the rumors. Year after year, he renewed his promises, stood by her, and continued to defend her. The truth is now striking him where it hurts because he refused to accept it even though everyone around him saw it. Jackie, meanwhile, is sobbing and saying that Doug left her emotionally broken and abandoned. abandoned her. But let us be honest for a moment. Is she crying because she feels guilty, or is she just regretting getting caught? Because her social media accounts are currently a complete mess. The remarks are harsh, with others criticizing her for acting like a victim after she allegedly made one of the most outrageous depictions in the history of a famous relationship. And Doug is winning while Jackie's world is falling apart. He remained silent, had faith in the process, and is now emerging as the clear victor. The public support for business deals that were placed on hold when the crisis first started is stronger than ever. People's perceptions of him have completely changed. Additionally, Jackie is no longer in charge of the story. Jackie is falling because, although her ideal wife persona may have deceived others, her close friends always sensed something was wrong. Additionally, Jackie had what the insiders referred to as a secret schedule, a regimen so erratic that even Doug was unable to follow it. On some days, she played the part of a loyal wife and was hooked to him. On other days, she would vanish for several hours, claiming to have self-care or business meetings. The problem is that no one actually knew where she was. It is becoming increasingly clear that those disappearing acts were not only about spending time alone, now that everything is coming to light. Making time for someone else was their goal. Speaking of private meetings, however, an unnamed insider recently revealed some shocking information. Jackie's travels alone? She was not truly alone. This source claims that Jackie insisted on going alone on several of her holidays, telling Doug that she needed time to recharge and concentrate on herself. But in reality, she was meeting up with someone else. Jackie reportedly stayed at upscale resorts. According to the source, she always made reservations under false names and took extreme care to avoid leaving a paper trail. But despite her best efforts, individuals were still keeping an eye on her employees at these resorts. As if it were not suspicious enough, Jackie was never seen alone, never allowed to go to the pool alone, and always had an unidentified man coming and going from her room. Some of these trips coincided too closely with Doug's business travel schedule, which suggests that she was organizing these covert getaways while making sure Doug was far away. However, things get worse because over the past few years, Jackie has been spotted in public several times with mystery men. At first, people dismissed it as a business associate, maybe a family member or someone in her inner circle. But now that all of these rumors about adultery are coming to fruition, sweetie, the re-examination of those old images took a whole different direction with this following piece of information. Jackie's purported lover was a well-known NBA player. She was supposedly fooling around with an NBA player, and not just any guy, while she was married to a full NBA icon. This individual has significant endorsements. A reputation for protecting the specifics of their the relationship is still developing. However, this truth will not just rock Jackie's world if it spreads. This player's career might suffer as a result. Remember that Doug is still closely associated with the NBA. This man was teasing his wife if the rumors are accurate. The consequences could lead to an odd conclusion. Although Doug first remained mute, other sources assert that it is about the game and also a popularity contest. The most surprising way he learned of Jackie's treachery was when an anonymous letter apparently appeared at his workplace. Unsigned and packed with information that only an insider would know, the letter did more than simply expose Jackie's adultery. Dates, locations, and even names are enlisted. Doug could not ignore it because it was so particular. And here's one further crazy detail. Jackie may have been giving clues all along. Now, some of her Instagram photos take on a very other meaning. If you go back and reread them, it turns out that several celebrities were aware of her other life long before Doug did, and an insider claims that a famous actress even attempted to alert Doug to it years ago. During an occasion, this actress, who has been in the business for decades and has witnessed it all, supposedly pulled Doug aside and informed him bluntly that Jackie had a background that he needed to investigate.
Something about her to me has always been off, and I think that she's just not to be trusted. So, a part of me was like, let me kind of see what I find.
If you have ever wondered how Jackie managed to stay hidden for so long, the truth may surprise you. Jackie's secret romances were allegedly covered up by a well-known reality personality who is skilled at keeping secrets hidden. Jackie and this reality celebrity were closer than most people thought. Additionally, there are rumors that they might have assisted in setting up private meetings, creating false alibis, and preventing some material from being reported. Jackie was not just skulking around, if this is accurate. Because of her ties in the sector, she was never apprehended, and the warning signs were not limited to Hollywood. From day one, Doug's own family was aware that Jackie was showered. Sources claimed that Jackie was never trusted by Doug's parents. Early on, they reportedly noticed warning flags, but Doug silenced them each time they attempted to voice their concerns. Jackie had convinced him that they were soulmates, and he was in love. However, it is said that his parents saw her domineering behavior, her fixation on appearance, and the fact that something about her did not seem right. Here's something else to think about if you believe that this was merely a case of paranoia. Jackie was left out of important family gatherings. Jackie was frequently left off the invitation list, but Doug was always invited, and according to sources, it was not an accident. According to reports, his family did not want her around, and now when everything is falling apart, it appears that they were the first to see the reality. However, the ramifications of this entire affair are not only personal, they have the potential to ruin her entire career. Insiders claim that when sponsors started reconsidering their collaborations, her brand relationships were in jeopardy because businesses are now rushing to disassociate themselves from the issue after previously lining up to be linked to Jackie's image of love and loyalty. Additionally, it has been alleged that a major cosmetic firm has already removed her from an upcoming campaign at the first hint of trouble, silently severing relations without announcing the decision in public. Jackie was supposed to star in a much-anticipated movie, but it does not end there, and now that could also be seriously threatened. Production firms and studios detest controversy, particularly when it affects ticket sales, and executives are reportedly re-evaluating Jackie's riskiness as a result of her name being dragged through the mud. In addition, Doug's legal team is intensifying their efforts. His attorneys are apparently seeking for damning evidence to be made public in addition to vying for money. Jackie's reputation might be ruined, and she would become untouchable in Hollywood if what they say is as terrible as insiders say. Their daughter, Takari Lee, also spoke up about the physical and psychological abuse she endured as a child. So it is not just Doe who is standing up. Jackie did not even accept responsibility. She retaliated on Instagram, claiming that Takari was simply depressed and labeling her daughter a low liar, like some unconcerned queen. Why are you all blaming your daughter's mental health for her trauma? The admirers do not believe it when she turns around and calls herself a woman of love and purity. Lulu is then given damage control.
I always felt a little intimidated by my mom, but just nervous, like jitters and everything. And then with my grandma passing, that mother relationship I had with her, and I felt like I'm crushed. And I compare that to me in your relationship, and that's where the question comes.
Jackie's marriage was made public, but the pattern is now becoming apparent. Her spouse has finally had enough of her daughter's lack of trust. Jackie is not going down without a fight, though, even when everything is falling apart. She is a straight-up fighter, you know that. At last, she is speaking up and claiming that the accusations of adultery are untrue. Doug, Jackie's daughter, was the first to begin to distance himself. According to her version of events, he had emotionally distanced himself from the marriage long before the divorce papers were submitted. Some of her closest friends are even supporting her, claiming that Jackie has been unfairly portrayed as a villain and that Doug was never truly devoted. And now that Jackie's reputation is at stake, her attorneys are preparing for a full-scale conflict. They are supposedly getting ready to strike back, and the whole story might change if they can demonstrate that the accusations are false or overblown. The true question, though, is this: is this divorce only a veil for something more significant in the media? There may be more going on behind the scenes, according to some industry insiders, and this dramatic separation could be a pretext for something even more scandalous. However, what are your thoughts on this? Is Jackie merely a victim of a media frenzy, or is she truly the main antagonist here? And do you believe that her career will endure? Please share your opinions with me, and do not forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to ensure you do not miss the next update. Because believe me, Jackie is going down, and this narrative has a lot more to tell.